Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Brian's Logic, Arwin, who's trying to get in right during the intro, which is a real pain in the arse. Let's just let him in. 10th Man, father of a stolen child, otherwise known as Sean, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, morning.
Morning.
Well, what an enthusiastic start. Wonderful stuff.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Brian, how's it going?
Good, Nathan. Could I get 5 minutes later on when the housekeeping is over?
We'll rattle through them as quick as we possibly can, if you like. Any evidence of physical...
There's no rush. There's no rush. Thank you.
Oh, I'm keen to get to you. There is a rush, now you've suggested it. I'm going to put the pressure on you, whether you like it or not. Go on, 10th.
No, I said we'll get to you in 5 minutes. Just let's go fast.
Any evidence of a physical, geometric, sphere-edge horizon formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
None whatsoever.
Nope.
Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Nope. No Earth-based Coriolis whatsoever to even validate that statement.
Go on, Owen.
Everything moves in lockstep or nothing is moving at all. You choose.
If everything's moving in lockstep, there'd be nothing to determine any differential between that and a completely stationary plane.
Indeed.
Is Discord flashing away because they can't be heard? Let's just reset Discord. Hold on 1 second. You guys hear me in Discord? I've got no audio from Discord. Just give me a second. I'll disconnect, refresh, restart, and hopefully Discord will start working. In the meantime, any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No. No measurement for that.
Any rams from Discord or crit? Right, I'm going to move into the after show. Hopefully they'll join me in there, and hopefully that'll give me some audio. We'll see. I'll have to tell them though, won't I? If you can hear me in Discord, I'm going to go into the after show. If you follow me in there, hopefully the audio issue will be solved because I can't hear you. Rams, can you just do a quick sound check? Or Crit, can you do a quick sound check? One of you say something. Nobody's saying anything. What a great start to my live show. Crit, can you say something? Doesn't look like we've got any sound from Discord today. Well, isn't that a bummer? Maybe let's try.
It is.
If they can hear me, let's try the after show. See if that works and we get some sound from Discord. If not, it'll be a bit of a boring show because we don't have.
This sounds like Inception. We're going one more layer deeper.
Yeah, we are.
I could pretend to be a baller.
You could. You'd do a good job of it too, I'm sure. Can we just see if we can hear anything from Discord? Absolutely nothing. Well, isn't that wonderful?
John, hang on. I got an idea. John, can you pop into Discord and pop back out? Just check it.
I can see them all flashing. They're all talking. They're just not being heard. I don't know why. Everything seems to be functional at my end. This is a rubbish.
Yeah, I'll go check see what's going on.
Okay. Well, we're out of our way through housekeeping because we've got a presentation, hopefully, or something to be discussed anyway. So, any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No. Like no evidence of Discord sound. Same thing.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
What is gravity?
Reification fallacy.
There you go. No.
Any single
Right.
viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics? Making a little background noise,
no.
Arwin.
They can't get past observation.
Yeah, they'd need their own special NASA division where they could go up and travel to confirm any of these celestial phenomena that they've studied. You know? But I don't think they're going to do that. It's much easier to just stay here on Earth and just make up a lot of stories.
We would do it in a nanosecond, but we've lost the technology for that.
No. Yeah, I had that discussion with somebody in my chat at the end of my own show. Just holding on like... saying that was actually legitimate because all the parts were handmade. Oh, really? That's really special. So yeah, so was Mercedes, 100 years ago. They can still be replicated by somebody now figuring it out with modern technology and then hand building it from scratch. So if they can do that, why couldn't they do that with 60-year-old outdated aerodynamics technology?
Right,
Yeah,
that's me testing Discord. Can't seem to figure out what's the issue.
They can't hear you, and but they're watching you on YouTube.
Sure, I'll try and
Thinking that you
completely
might
close
can hear
down.
them.
Yeah, I'll close it down and see if I can get back in, and hopefully that'll fix the issue. We'll see. How did the call go? Very badly. Discord, don't be asking me when it all goes wrong.
Well, Arwin, in the age of 3D printers and machine shops with computer driven lathes and cutting tools, I'm sure they could easily replicate those parts.
Indeed, and also just 60 years of aerodynamics development. And once again, composite materials, like it's so far upgraded that the design that they originally used to supposedly accomplish this is literally outdated. It's not too difficult to build it back again. Because, yeah, you're not trying to make a historical museum piece. You're just trying to achieve a technology that could achieve the same thing, right? So, yeah, it would be very easy to replicate and heavily update whatever they're supposed to have done back then to accomplish the same thing and better.
What's wrong with you? They had the fuel. They got the fuel calculated. It's a fact they went to the moon because the fuel calculation is correct.
No, actually, it was the entertainment part. They had an 8-track player in the old one, and they need to go to a digital player now, and they're just not sure about it.
I'm just telling you what the Grassy Tyson says.
Well, if you want the real reason why they can't do it again, it's because camera resolutions have become too high.
That's exactly why. And I actually, aluminum tin foil is stronger and thinner now, so they could put less on it.
Right. Any evidence?
Yeah, the Hobo Fortress could be designed in a much more efficient way.
That's a good one, Arwin. Hobo Fortress.
Another good name for a band, Hobo Fortress.
I mean the Moonlander, right?
Yeah, perfect. That was classic.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the center of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Not from the Hobo Fortress.
Yeah, talking about which, it would be pretty funny if, like, there was some kind of moonlander just dumped somewhere outside in an alley, and I think that over time hobos would probably take up living in there if it was just thrown out.
Actually, that would be an improvement because it gets cold and they have to have a lot of insulation.
Right. And they might even get a moon buggy out of it.
So much for your last question, Nathan.
Yeah, sorry.
Right, molten iron core. Any evidence thereof?
Oh, pressure.
What about pressure?
Well, with that much pressure, that's what causes it to heat up, and that would change the parameters for the Curie point too.
So what are you saying?
Could it be magnetic?
So are you saying pressure is evidence that we've got a molten iron core?
Oh yeah, definitely, because it's all pushing in on the core like that. Yeah.
Can you demonstrate that if you actually press iron and stone and all that enough that it will melt? Can you demonstrate that?
Can you demonstrate the presupposition of the molten iron core at the presupposed center of a presupposed spherical Earth before you start claiming that there's going to be pressure as a result of it?
Oh no, it's not a result of it. The pressure is what causes it. There's just so much of everything.
Okay,
so
right.
much mass.
Can you demonstrate that on a smaller scale?
No, not on the smaller scale. The assumption is that you've got a result as the pressure is the cause now, right? Okay, fine. But you're assuming that pressure.
Yeah, because of weight. Yeah.
Well, because of the mechanics of your sphere Earth and how the mechanics of that presupposed spherical Earth would work.
Right. That's why I didn't answer the other questions. If I didn't challenge them, then I could hold this as true.
What if you've got a presupposed spherical Earth with a presupposed molten iron core at the middle of it? Then you can start deducing that there'd be pressure and how much it'd be, and therefore that's the cause of the molten iron core and changes the parameters. That's also a special pleading fallacy.
Well, yeah, because the Earth's real special.
But you can't just appeal to the idea that having a pressure at the center of a presupposed spherical Earth would alter the Curie point of molten iron, which you don't know is there.
It's not really a defensible position. I give up.
Okay.
Too much pressure?
No, just you lost, but that, nice that you can actually get to that stage with someone pretending to be a glowbed. Marvellous.
Too much pressure. John has reached his Curie point.
Speaking of pressure.
Good job.
Any evidence you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
This is so basic, but what was Chaiki say on that recording Chocolate put up yesterday? The antecedent was the vacuum for the gas pressure.
Well, is there any kind of like a Curie point for magnetic viability of iron? Is there any point where basically gas, when it becomes thin enough, no longer is able to create the gravity that holds it to the ball?
What gravity? What are you
There's
talking about?
something like that too.
Quick couple of shout outs. Shout out to flatearthchannel.com, who's also one of my patrons, for joining as a penguin, and also shout out to Sol for also joining as a penguin.
What gravity, Arwen? That was the question.
Also, can you
the bending of space-time?
Can you hear this in Discord now? Chris, can you say something? See if we can hear you. Clearly not.
I think this is one of those times for the ballers where they believe in mass attracting mass. They can't even really talk about entropy,
They believe it, but they don't claim it, though. They just think they claim it, but they don't.
Well, entropy is like entropy would be the opposite of mass attracting mass. It's mass leaving away from other masses, right?
No. Not necessarily.
What's the best definition in one word for entropy? Anyone know it?
Change.
It's the description of a
that's it.
transition.
That's it. Change.
Right. Description of a transition and the fashion in which the transition will always happen. Like the direction of it.
Any evidence of the R value? Earth radius.
Black swan for chocolate. No, it's dead. Geometrically. And they have no radius. They have nothing. And it's like John was playing the baller there a minute ago with this molten iron core. He was assuming a sphere with a radius. So no, can't even have that because it's a presupposition and geometry kills their globe model.
Okay, so I take it that since nobody rebutted my question about at what point does gas no longer have the viable mass to cause gravity to hold it to the ball, I take it that skipping on answering that means that I've proven it?
No, he asked you a question. What's gravity? And he was going to ask you a follow-up question, but we got sidetracked.
Yeah. So that means I won.
No,
No, it
that means
doesn't.
Discord wasn't working.
Oh,
Yeah.
technical difficulty. So I won.
Gravity isn't sufficient to keep the gas there.
That was good.
That's
one,
just
Arlen.
what Rumpus says. And me too. I said it before him, but I'm not saying it right now.
Well, great.
Besides, gravity is not a force. It's the bending of space-time that's causing the gas to stick to the ball, not a force.
Can you show me bending time?
No, you can't. Nor can he show it you as a container. It's a concept.
It doesn't have to be contained. If
Yeah,
the
it
bending of
does.
space-time just creates this virtual hole in which the gas will gather, like a liquid.
Well, then
Even
just
though-
show that.
It doesn't happen.
Just show that.
Well, I can show metaphorical examples of it.
That's not showing it.
I know. That's why I've been asking people in my chat during my shows, like, can somebody actually show me how the bending of space-time is supposed to be causing this force or an acceleration? I've never even had an attempt of anybody answering it. It always ends up with just more metaphorical descriptions, because that's the only thing that exists in this time.
See,
Nobody can actually tell me how it's doing that.
I'm with MacGyver, Institute of Ninja Technology, who says, if we have a core, we must have a radius. Exactly. It all starts with the radius.
Well, that is the core of the argument.
Covered everything. Is that it?
I think so.
Brian,
Still haven't rebutted my claim, though.
Metaphorically, we have.
you used a concept and said that a bending concept would be a container for gas. So simultaneously acknowledging that you'd require containment, but then equally asserting nonsense about a sphere Earth without defining any parameters, and then claiming that a non-force force you can think of as a force acts as a container. Well, that's not an argument. What do you mean we
I
haven't
didn't
rebutted
say
it?
it acts like a force. I never brought that up. I just said that the bending of space-time causes a virtual container. So
Virtual?
it just alters the way normal space functions.
Normal. There is no
And
normal
therefore,
space.
it just contains it.
Ugh. This will go on and on. Armin's in one of those moods.
Arwen, what is normal space?
Normal space is where the space-time is not being bent as normal.
What the hell are you on about?
I don't know yet. I'm still trying to see where I'm going with this.
You're trying to see where you're going with it, are you? Well, that's good for us, eh? Can we move on to Brian?
Ah,
Yes.
see, I won. I knew it.
You won.
Oh, running away, are you? I'll bite your legs
Yeah.
off.
I'll bite your legs off.
Hey, I don't know. What I'm doing here is I'm just going to shout someone out. It's another YouTuber, Flat Earther, But I have a story to tell. There's a girl called Rachie 00000. So it's Rachie with 5 zeros. I just posted her channel. Sorry, there's a cat here. Her channel in the Master B. 1 second. We'll have to unmute a second.
That reminded me of that scene in the Bond movie with Spectre and the guy holding the cat. That's what I got of Brian right now.
Yeah, my cat decides. One of my cats, she's really bored. She decides to right at the wrong time. She decides she wants to meow and start sticking her nails in me.
All right, number one. All right,
yeah.
number one. Number 10's ready and listening.
But this girl Rachie, I posted her channel in the Master B if you want to put it out to the chat, Nathan. She's been a flat out only the past year and a half, I think, or she's only been really kind of prevalent in the past 12 months, let's just say. And she does a lot of demonstrations where she shows things like coins under flat and under edges disappearing due to diffraction and compression. She has a pretty long hallway and she doesn't have a great phone, but she gets a load of other people's phones and cameras that are better. And she shows with different cameras, with different demonstrations, when she moves back, that the coins disappear, right? We all know why. It's diffraction, angular resolution, and then there's compression. She shows compression as well. Now, the ballers obviously get up in arms about this because they can't accept reality ever. They just accept reality. So they have her doing the same demonstration 10 and 12 different ways because they can't deal with it. And then they go off themselves and they start trying to do the demonstration. And of course, through the form, they do their best to try to stop the effect from happening. But unfortunately, the effect still happens for them. And it's so much so that I even use one of them. This one guy, I won't even shout him out because he's a liar. This one guy, he did such a good demonstration that I save his video and I show his video to people who claim that compression and diffraction won't make something disappear. I show his very video to people, right, to other ballers, right. But that's just a bit of background on Rachie, right, what she does. Her channel is only small. She only has a couple of hundred subscribers. And she just works on doing small demonstrations because that's all she can do. She's a young mother and she just lives in an apartment with her partner and that. So she doesn't have, let's say, loads of money to get loads of things that she would want to do a bigger demonstration. But she saw my demonstration where I show optical drop, where I show the cardboard, the reference lines on the cardboard, and I have the laser. And I'm moving the cardboard back, and it all appears to drop below the crosshairs of the app I have on my phone. So she saw this demonstration, and she was very interested in it. And she realised that there was a tower. When she looked out the window of her apartment, her apartment is only on the second floor of her apartment building. She realised that there's a tower with a red light on top of it for airplanes in the distance. And she realised that when she looks straight out, she looks directly in line with this red light, or even the light might be slightly below her eye line. So she wanted to find out what height this light was at. So she found out that the base of the tower and the base of her building, there's 24 meters. The base of the tower is actually 24 meters above the base of her building. And then the tower itself is 270 meters up high again on top of that. So altogether in feet, the whole lot is the whole lot I think is 965.8 feet above sea level. The whole lot, the whole of the tower, and she's 500 feet, including our second floor apartment. She's about close on 500 feet above mean sea level. Now that would mean that there's 465.8 feet unaccounted for, okay, above her, yet she's seen it in her direct eye line. And the best part is, this is the best part, and this is one of the reasons I want to show her out, because this is really good, is that the tower is only 8 miles away from her. And it's absolutely driving the ballers up the wall. They are going up the wall with this, and they can't handle it whatsoever. It's only 8 miles away, so no matter what they do, no matter what nonsense they try and throw at her, there's nothing they can do. This tower, she's looking at the red light, and she shows it with her phone, although the video is not great because her phone is not great, and she's looking at the tower in the nighttime through a window, so it's not brilliant, but you can see the red light there. And she has given the location of the tower to the ballers. I don't know the location, but I trust her. And she's shown this tower that the red light on this tower is 465 feet above her eye line. Yet 8 miles away, she's looking straight at it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think it absolutely proves what we've been saying for years in the real world. Not that we needed it, but it's really good. I just think it's really good. And I think that she does a lot of these small demonstrations with the coins disappearing and stuff that are really good. So I just wanted to shout her out because it's YouTubers like ourselves who are doing little things like that, and they're hitting on things like this thing with the tower, and they're just not getting seen. So I just wanted to shout her out. That's why I was doing that. Anthony is subscribed to her as well, as far as I know. So if the rest of you could have a look at our channel and maybe subscribe if you like, it would be good.
Yeah, I've got a video up, and I've stuck a link to a channel, so it's Rachie 00000 is the name of the YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Currently has 222 subscribers. So hopefully we can grow our channel a little bit. Check her out. I've put a link in the I've put a link in the info box. So go and subscribe to Rachie 00000. I might have had one too many zeros there. But there we go.
Yeah, thanks for that, Nathan. It's just that the thing with the tower is absolutely epic. Not that we need it, but it's just really good to see the borders grow.
Right. Excellent. Nice to have a good recommendation. Spent a whole day yesterday, Brian. Were you around when we spent the entire day covering Earth curvature?
Yeah, I think me and you talking about it before the show got started, actually. I think that's what got the ball rolling.
Well, indeed. So it's one of those that the entire uncut and live and after show all were covering one subject, really specific. Every aspect of it was covered. The black swan, the geometry, the lack of Earth curve, edge horizon. The whole thing was covered in great detail throughout the whole show. It was great. And then today, much more quiet. It's usually quiet at the moment with Discord anyway, but it's quieter than ever because Discord can't hear me, I can't hear them. But that, I'm sure, will resolve itself by tomorrow. Well, I hope so.
Do you want to pick a topic on one of the other questions and we'll cover it today, Nathan? Because we might as well do something, have some direction.
Well, as it was prompted by Tommy, so Tommy released a video where he was arguing with somebody about a gas in a container going down in another container that had all the air removed from it. And my comment to him was to say, well, the balloon becomes the container in that example, and the balloon hasn't got gas going down, go boom boom inside the balloon. It's not pooling at the bottom, it's not fatter at the bottom. The balloon, which becomes the container, somehow then put into another container that's had the gas removed on the outside of the container. Well, so what? Inside that container, the gas has expanded in all directions. So inside the balloon, the reason I bring this up because Tommy was trying to make his opponent accept that once the balloon pops, it fill the chamber as the container. It's like, well, you don't need to pop the balloon. The balloon itself is a container, and it's got the expansion of gas being demonstrated within the balloon without you having to do anything. Not going down, go boom boom. So yeah, I'd like to focus on gas pressure without a container, where they take arbitrary containers, fill them with gas, and say, look, my gas container with gas in it goes down, go boom boom when I remove all the air from around it.
Yeah, sounds good to me because they seem to not want to get that point. No matter how many times they're told it and shown it, they keep on wanting to think that some unproven theory keeps the gas where it is in an open system, right next to a building.
Well, conceptual containers are what are holding the gas and the pressure gradient on Earth. So that must be the container. It's conceptual.
In reality, and upon demonstration by the globe side, they need a container around the helium inside the vacuum chamber. So what if we didn't have the balloon around the gas? It would fill the vacuum chamber. That's the point that Tommy's making. I'm saying, well, you're making that to make the guy understand that the gas will fill the space. When he's saying, here's a solid container, and the solid container goes down when I remove all the air from a container that container is in. You're like, wowee. Inside the second container, inside the first container, the gas has expanded in all directions to fill the volume it has to fill. And it wouldn't be doing anything different in the larger container if you remove the balloon. Now, by analogy, the balloon, you could say, well, that's their Earth, and the vacuum around it is the vacuum of space, according to their religious worldview. Well, they need containment around the gas to stop it filling the vacuum, and Earth doesn't have that. But instead they argue about, well, no, gas can go down, go boom, boom, because if I take a solid balloon, it will go down in a vacuum chamber. You're like, yeah, but gas doesn't have lots of balloons around it.
Exactly. They latch on to this balloon in a gas chamber or a vacuum chamber thing. And it's like they do their best not to use any logic whatsoever. I mean, it's obvious that if you release the helium out of the balloon, it's just going to fill the chamber. But they're focusing on why it goes down. The only reason it goes down is because the reason the balloon goes up when we have it outside in the air or in our houses or whatever, goes up to the ceiling, is because the other gases, the denser gases that make up air that are surrounding us, that gives a certain amount of structural resistance. So the fact that the helium, because it's compressed into the balloon, one is being displaced. Let's say because of its density, it's being displaced by the air and other gases around, the denser gases around it. So what happens is that they give a bit of structural resistance or structural support to help the balloon to rise. Because the helium is being displaced by those other gases, and they help the balloon to rise with the helium. But in the vacuum chamber, there is no other gases. There is nothing. The only gas in there is the helium that's inside the balloon. And the density of the material of the balloon is enough to pull the helium in and down to the bottom. But if you pop that balloon, that helium is just going to fill the chamber.
Right.
The helium has no reason to go up. Do you know what I mean?
Likewise, you can make the same example with a tennis ball in a bathtub. Like, well, if you fill the bathtub, the tennis ball will be displaced by the water, so it's going to go up. It's going to rise with the water level as you fill the bathtub, right? It's going to head up. Well, that's because there's a medium underneath it to support it. But if you don't have the medium, you remove the water from the bath, well, it goes down. Well, there's nothing supporting it. Well, same likewise with a helium balloon and air. If there's nothing there to support it, it will also go down. But that doesn't change that within the containment of the balloon, which is also a container, the gas is expanded equally in all directions. As gas does. That's what gas does. Hey, Adam.
Exactly. It's a great example. Hey, Adam.
Afternoon, boys and girls. Hope we're all okay.
Yeah, very well. Got a funky Discord that doesn't work.
Oh.
There we go. Such is life. I'm sure it will fix itself by tomorrow.
Can I get a sound check?
Yeah, you can get a sound check.
Okay, my whole computer just rebooted right in front of me for some reason. And my TV turned on without me touching anything. Crazy.
Read out a quick comment from Christopher, who says, is it Christopher? Christopher? Bornia? Hope I've said that correctly. Boats disappear bottom up, behind the horizon. Don't know about your terminology there. Because of the angular size, resolution, and not because of an alleged curve of the Earth. I agree with your sentiment, but angular size resolution is more often than not negated by something else, like a swell or a wave, or something in the foreground that's bigger than the thing based on its angular size. But that isn't just angular size at distance, because do you guys remember when Ranty had Life is Short on his show and he did a long presentation about this? Do any of you guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember it.
Well, in that presentation, he points out that he found very, very few examples where you could actually say, no, the point that we have an actual diffraction limit viewable at the horizon would be to have the most perfect crystal clear day imaginable. And he exampled Red Pill Philosophy's video of a roadway and some buildings into a very far distance. And he's like, this is so clear that you can actually see the point of the angular resolution limit at the horizon being breached based on the limitation of the angle. But unless you've got that, like, absolutely perfect conditions, which Red Pill Philosophy did have on that particular reel, well, if you don't have that, there's normally something else, most likely the weather, getting in the way. You know, it doesn't matter if you're looking over water, it could be the phase change, i.e. the water turning into gas, that causes a layer that's thicker in terms of the gas that's being produced at ground level before it makes its way up. Well, there's going to be more of it there, cluttering your view. And that is the most likely. Now, there's a whole list of things. And when the globe heads come along and say, look at all these flurfers lists of things that say you can cause obstruction from the bottom up. And you've got things like swells, atmosphere, angular resolution limit, perspective. The list goes on and on and on, because there's plenty of examples of exactly that occurring in small and big scales. Yeah? Now, that's a long list from our side of the argument as realists looking at the world as it actually presents itself. But from their side, they've only got a geometric Earth curve calculator that's hijacked perspective and asserts that there's only one thing causing things to disappear into the distance, and that's Earth curve getting in the way, because there is no perspective in their world. So I've given you a quite a long, detailed sort of synopsis of your super chat. I'm just grateful that you've super chatted more than anything else, Christopher, if that's how you say your name. Hopefully it is. But yes, indeed, their assertion is singular. Earth curve got in the way. Well, what about if it got too small to see? Earth curve got in the way. What about if we point out that the Earth curve edge you're using is beyond its geometric capabilities? We wouldn't expect to see Earth curve. Thank you again for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, hopefully that's brought some clarity in terms of the gas pressure without a container argument when they start assigning multiple containers. This is so typical of globe heads. Here you go. Here's gas pressure without a container. What about those 2 containers you've used? This is gas pressure without a container. Shut up. Stupid flat earther. What do you mean 2 containers? Well, there's a container that you bought the gas in, and there's a container that you put the gas in. So that's 2 containers. Well, okay, here's gas pressure without a container. Gas goes down, go boom, boom. Here's a balloon in a vacuum chamber. But that is also 2 containers, though, isn't it?
I had a guy tell me he can't do it unless he uses 2 containers.
Adam's super chatted me. He's obviously feeling generous in this bright new year that we're having. Says, the Adam Meakin, been trying to get a job at NASA today, but apparently they have no space. Indeed. Sky vacuum is fake.
Good one, Adam.
Thank you for the super chat, Adam.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Remember
Best Christmas cracker joke, that. Sorry, no, carry on, Brian.
No, that was better than a Christmas cracker joke. I've got something to say about Christmas crackers after this, actually. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay. Do you remember Friday's show when Virus was in and he was attacking you on entropy and all that, Nathan?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. Well, if I'm not mistaken, his claim was basically he was trying to claim somehow the temperature he was in very kind of, it was a hidden beg in the question fallacy for gravity, but he was also kind of relinquishing gravity by trying to claim that temperature would stop the gas from all just leaving, because of the units of entropy, which is joules over Kelvin, is it? I'm not 100%
that is
sure
correct.
of that. But he was trying, basically, his whole claim is based on there being anything past the stratosphere. But as I have said before, and I think you already know this, there's nothing that can be proven past the stratosphere, because after that, after that, there was no high altitude balloons that can go any further than 50 kilometers up. So after that, it's only NASA sounding rockets is the only claim they have to anything that happens after the stratosphere. So, and in the stratosphere, the temperature rises from the bottom of the stratosphere up. The higher you go up in the stratosphere, the higher the temperature rises. So because he wasn't clear about his claim, so if his claim is that temperature is the reason why let's just say gas is not all leaving the Earth, let's just say, right? Because he believes it's a globe in his model. Then that he's basically using the sky vacuum. He's basically using information that's gained from the sky vacuum to back up a claim that entropy won't happen, and the gas won't go off out into the very same sky vacuum because of temperature readings that come from sounding rockets that go up into a sky vacuum. If you can understand what I'm saying.
I
it's
do.
Really,
you just
really
missed.
screwed up.
You're correct. You just missed one aspect. So he also foisted upon us that we were asserting that the gas would have infinite kinetic energy, and then simultaneously implied that the gas, and I think this was a rumpus argument that he's been utilising, would almost get down to absolute zero. And I think it was Rams then asked him, well, are you implying that the gas will get to a certain point, reach absolute zero, and then fall back down again because it's lost its energy? So he was kind of implying that we are suggesting, as per the description of ideal gas, that we've got infinite kinetic energy. That was the only bit you missed. Other than that, yeah, that's exactly what his argument was. Correct. He's begging the question fallacy. It wrapped up in a load of nonsense obfuscation and utilisation of concepts that don't actually occur, i.e. gas reaching absolute zero, running out of energy, and then falling back to the ground. Gas go down, go boom, boom, by way of begging the question fallacy, utilising a sky vacuum, which he's trying to prove.
I'm thinking about this one, Brian and Nathan. And obviously, to get to absolute zero will be the point that you've no kinetic energy left and the molecule stops. But even at point 0.000000000000001 above 0 Kelvin, still got kinetic energy, so it would still be moving. There isn't a point, because it can't get to zero. Zero is the point when it stops, but it can't get to zero, therefore it never stops.
Right. Well, no, never stops would be no change, correct?
No, what I mean is that if for whatever reason it was able on its journey, on an uninterrupted journey, to lose kinetic energy in some way, without topping it up with all the, the sun and everything. But if that was still possible, because it can never reach zero, and the kinetic speed is proportional to the temperature, because you can never get the temperature to absolute zero, then this kinetic speed will never actually get to zero. So even if it was going really, really slow, it's still going in the same direction away.
Right, so what you're saying is, while our description of high-speed gas moving in all directions, regardless of how close to absolute zero it gets, it's never going to stop. Now, it might slow right down, but who cares? The behaviour is identical, even if it's at a slower rate.
Yeah. And it might slow down to walking pace, but it's still going in that direction.
Exactly.
Still.
So what I'm saying, the reason I used the word change was because of 10th Man's trying to tie that to entropy earlier, which is what entropy is, right? Entropy would cease if it could reach absolute zero. Entropy does not cease. So it's still going to expand to fill the volume regardless of its temperature. Now, the proportionality with time is still measurable with entropy. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to negate entropy by saying, well, it almost stops. It's like, no, it's still going to expand in all directions. Doesn't matter how fast it does it. And by asking me whether or not I know joules per Kelvin, which I didn't at the time, who cares? It doesn't matter. The process is the same. Qualifying it in terms of the time, it's like, what are you saying? You can drag out the time it'll take. Still doesn't change the fact that gas fills space.
I still got the... Can I jump
go on,
in?
Paul. Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
I remember we asked last time I came in. This is funny that I came in at this time. This topic came up. Adam, did you ever do the research on like the vector, the direction of the particle moving, or the vibrational rate of the particle? Which is it?
Yeah, I read it that day. As far as I could see, it was vibrational speed is just basically more applicable to solids within their matrix, and their contain energies is summarized as vibrational. But when in a gas, there is very little vibration. It just translates as kinetic.
Right, and that...
So where does that so when it loses a photon and its energy state goes, and it's accelerating in one direction. So under conservation laws, where did that energy?
Why are we losing a proton?
It doesn't lose a proton. No. So if you've got a brick,
photon,
right,
photon. Sorry.
It's okay. If you've got a
Releases.
brick and it's vibrating, right, that vibration is severe enough to occasionally break off part of the brick. Tiny, 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 tiny amount because of the vibration. In other words, go on.
Like I say, then those two things aren't linked.
I know they're not. That's what I'm saying.
The photon emission is due to internal energy levels, quanta, to move from one layer to the other. The thing we're talking about is internal energy of movement and speed, not an action within the shells, put simply.
Indeed.
May I bring in something on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam, the kinetic energy that we're talking about, and obviously Paul had that one GIF where it was a container and you can turn up.
We lost you, 10th. 10th.
While he's gone, I was wanting to ask Akumo if he thought the sun is no longer energizing the particles after they reach a certain point.
Number one, he's not in Discord. Number two, Discord can't hear me and I can't hear them today. But
I'm sure he's watching.
Yeah, indeed. I was going to say, feel free to verbalise it once more so Virus can actually answer it next time he's available.
Yeah, at what point does the sun stop energizing the particle of gas?
You will get an answer, we'll see. Shout out to Henrik for the super chat. Really appreciate your support. Don't really understand this question, but it's apparently a good question according to Rob H. MacGyver, again, Institute of Ninja Technology. If satellites, in quotes, measured sea level from Narnia, he means space, can we trust sea level? Yeah, we can. Regardless of what they're claiming. They're claiming it's wrapped around a sphere, so they've got a contradiction in terms straight away when they call it sea level. But the sea level bit, we can definitely trust water finds and maintains its level.
All right, I'm back. I had network connections. I don't know if my statement got out.
Nope. We got first two words.
All right, so my thing is, to even have temperature, you got to have container because the gas particles either cool down or heat up. So where's the argument?
I don't know. Go on, Adam.
That was me. That was Brian. Yeah, no, see, Virus' argument is that basically they know that the sky vacuum is possible. And what I mean is that they know that it's possible to have gas pressure here and have a sky vacuum next to it and it be an open system. And how they know that's possible is because of information they got from the sky vacuum. That's basically the argument. Because as I said, anything from the bottom of the stratosphere to the top, the temperature rises. And anything after that, there is no evidence outside of NASA sounding rockets to go off out into a sky vacuum and release a canister, and then that canister picks up whatever data and then falls back down to Earth. That's their claim. So anything past, so their claim is that things get colder and colder, and it gets to a point where basically there is just kind of like things are becoming static due to temperature. But there's a lot of problems with that anyway. But rather than arguing about that and the amount of particles that would be there and all this, there's no evidence of anything past the top of the stratosphere. And it heats up, it continually heats up from the bottom to the top. So they have so the whole argument is a disaster because Virus's argument is that they know that the sky vacuum sitting next to gas pressure is possible in an open system because they got information from the sky vacuum.
Yeah, it's akin to pointing at the sky and saying, well, we know gas doesn't fill the space. Look, gas isn't filling the space. It's like, no, that's your assumption that there's a sky vacuum. And by way of what? Special pleading? It just doesn't fill it in line with the law of nature that is entropic law or the second law of thermodynamics. Well, that's special pleading and a begging the question fallacy. The sky is a vacuum and the gas isn't filling it. That's how the gas isn't filling it.
Well, that was my very point, because if it's what they say it is, then they could demonstrate it by cooling the very top part, but leaving a little room above that, and see if any gas particles go there. But they can't demonstrate that because gas will fill the available space if it's an enclosed container. And then if they open the container, there's nothing to measure because all the gas would leave.
Worse again is that actual argument is relinquishing gravity as the reason that they have gas pressure held to, you know what I mean? Because they're trying to use entropy instead of gravity. They're trying to show how entropy and temperatures would stop it from happening, or temperatures would stop entropy from happening in the way we expect it to happen. Yep. But that means they're not claiming gravity.
Exactly. Trying to debunk entropy. And Rumpus continually comes here and just denies it flat out. Says there's no such thing as natural law. You know, they deny entropy. And then they'll appeal to the description when they're giving their examples. It's amazing. Quick shout out to Christopher again, or Christopher. He says, if Earth was spherical, a drop of 8 inches per mile squared should be seen. Absolutely no curvature can be seen with optics. Right, there's no curvature. It's measured flat, observably flat, and the only assertion that it isn't requires you turning your view side on after taking a picture of the horizon and claiming that that horizon's a physical geometric sphere edge obscuring things into the distance, while people at trench level, after seeing the black swan, tell us how non-physical it is. Thank you for the super chat.
Indeed. Nathan, that would be a good topic tomorrow, is to, just like we had the one show yesterday on one subject, if I could request that we really drill into the Muppet vision, the side-on view, and how they do that, because I think that will wake up a lot of people. I really enjoy the contrast of what reality is versus what they put on that side-on view and want you to philosophize into reality.
Well, it's as simple as seeing the side of your own head. As soon as you see any globe comparison to a physical reified Earth curve edge at the horizon, and an assertion that the thing in the distance that's being blocked from the bottom up is being blocked by that Earth curve, you'll see the depiction in side-on view, 90 degrees to where the picture was taken. So in the picture you'll have no sign of you because you're taking the picture, and there'll be a horizon running left to right in the image. In a globe Earth world, your image will be presented with the target on the right and you on the left, and a line drawn between the two, an Earth curve getting between the two of them. But that Earth curve is the only thing that gets in the way, because the target will be assigned a whole number value, that will be an actual size, feet and inches or meters, that doesn't change with distance. So the only thing that's causing it to get blocked, according to their vernacular, is the obstruction of the Earth curve between target on the left and observer on the right, or vice versa. So those depictions remove aspects of perspective and leave you with you and the side of your own head in an image being compared to something that doesn't have the side of your own head in the picture and has a horizon running left to right, rather than a physical sphere edge that's drawn as a curve from left to right also, with a little X marking a spot saying that's the horizon. A little X. It's like, well, the horizon doesn't present itself that way, and we don't see the side of our own head. And I haven't taken this from a perspective halfway out to the moon with the sphere Earth depicted at the edge of it. None of that's actually what's occurred in terms of the way your photography's taken. You just see the world with perspective, with things getting smaller and smaller until they disappear into the distance. Simple.
There goes tomorrow's show.
There goes tomorrow's show.
Simple.
What do you mean?
It's simple, but with the imagery, it's just so powerful. So I'll see if I could get some images. I'll throw it up tomorrow and you can do it again.
Yeah, that was very, very rough and same thing though, right?
Oh, that was good. That was a good summary you just gave.
Fair enough. I might actually round the show out a little bit early and ask anybody who's watching on either Nathan Oakley or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams to stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live with all the technical difficulties that we've experienced, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley channel member, or smashed the super chat. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on either Premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.